That is a game that you are going to want to have back. That's a game you should have won. That's a game that you found a way to lose. This is the Locked On Ole Miss podcast.
You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Willis, a 10-year veteran member of the national media with Yahoo Sports and a former Ole Miss football staff member as well. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Ole Miss kind of finding a way to lose that game. And there was too much three-outcome hitting. The pitching staff threw 20 strikeouts, but somehow did not look good for bullpen work. The first inning for Hunter Elliott there's been a theme developing this season. Tristan Bissetta, 2 bombs, absolutely nothing to complain about his game. But 2 or 3 of the players that had multiple hits got pulled out of the game because at certain points, Ole Miss was like right on the edge of putting it away, and they just couldn't seem to do it. It's weird to think about that. All this and more is coming up on today's Locked On Ole Miss podcast. Remember, we're free and available on all the podcast apps and on YouTube as a special hello to the insiders and everydayers who make the show what it is, your team every day. And have your cake and drink it too. Birthday cake flavor is back. No fork needed. Vanilla-y cakey flavor, caffeinated kick, no sugar. It's party time. Order now at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. All right, so this is a game that Ole Miss should have won. They absolutely should have won. If you look at the stats of what's going on, Ole Miss had 20 strikeouts for the game. That's an unheard of number of what's going on. Just absolutely nuts. But when you look at the batting lineup of what's going on, Ole Miss struck out 12 times. Way too much swing and miss in the Ole Miss game today. Tristan Bissetta had 2. He was 2 for 5. He had 2 hits. Colin Reuter was 2 for 3. He got pinch run for early when all of this late game stuff started. He got taken off the field. Will Furnace, 2 for 4. He got taken off the field. And the runner that was brought in to pinch run for him had a base running error as well. And after that, that was about it. Udemark had 1 hit. Owen Pano had 1 hit. And that's the 8 hits for the ball game. Let's see. Daniel Pasella, he just pinch run. Austin Foley, Dom Decker, Sermons, Golden, Mosley, Randall, and Federico all drew the collar in this game. And as the season has gone on, Ole Miss has found a way to win these ball games. Whatever they do, they found a way to win games. When the pitching didn't show up right, the hitting always came around. When the pitching wasn't quite right, or the hitting wasn't quite right, the pitching came around. And tonight, the hitting never happened. Like the 3 outcome stuff was a real problem for Ole Miss in this game. The pitching staff in the first inning, I think the first 3 base runners, including a run, happened in the first inning because Hunter Elliott was his. This season has been a usual wild. All 3 weekends, the first inning has been problematic. And then he always settles in and he's fine to excellent after that. Hudson Calhoun, really good until he wasn't. And all of a sudden he gave up like walk with 2 outs, dink hit, and then a 3-run bomb. And that's how this game got interesting as well. The 2 Landons each gave up a run in the game, although they were right around the plate, 15 strikes and 19 pitches and 15 strikes and 22 pitches. Everybody was near the plate. You can't blame control for it. You're not going to look necessary at walks. Hunter Elliott had 3 walks. Like we said, 3 of them were in the first inning and 2 of them were hit batters. Hudson Calhoun had 1 with 2 outs that ended up coming back to haunt him as well. This Ole Miss team struggled fielding the ball, as we've seen. They had 2 errors in the ball game. Kept going at the end whenever it got weird. It was 3-1 forever, and then it was like 4-3 and 5-4 and 6-5 and 6-6 and or 6-5. And It's just a situation where they just didn't make the plays they needed to make, period, at all. All right, the second segment of this show, we're probably not going to go very long tonight because there's probably not going to be many comments and questions. But if you leave a question in the comment section for the second half of the show, please put where you're commenting from. Like if you're John from Vicksburg, please put that in the comment as well so I can shout that out. But Ole Miss has Ohio State tomorrow. It's a game that Ole Miss should honestly win. They should have won this game. Tonight was one of those games to where if Ole Miss is a 2 seed instead of a 1 seed and it came down to one game, you regret this game because this is absolutely one that got away. This is one that all season you found a way to get these W's. And the W's are the most important part of what's going on. I'm pretty impressed to see what's going on with that. And the second segment, by the way, it's going to be all you, or at least all the questions that are there. So please comment on that, and we'll get to those right after this. Honestly, if you have any questions about football or anything else, we'll pick those up as well and talk about that. So when we come back, your comments about Ole Miss's 6-5 loss to the Baylor Bears. This is the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. Welcome to the 5-hour energy flavor draft with 18 different flavors to choose from, including new options like confetti craze, fruity rainbow, or cotton candy. There is something for everyone. The board is set. The flavors are ready. And I've got my number one pick for the 5-hour energy club draft. Drum roll, everybody. I'm going with grape, old school grape. That's right. To me, it is still the top flavor that you can get from 5-hour energy. So I like that. I like cherry. Pomegranate is good. And of course, berry is absolutely fantastic. I love the fact that it's sweet, but not too sweet. And there's no sugar crash at the end. The sleeper flavor, by the way, might be pomegranate. Pomegranate could be a top contender if that happens, but I am going to go with grape. 5-hour energy shots give you a boost with zero sugar. Find your new favorite flavor at 5-hour energy shots, available online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. And the biggest stretch of the college basketball season is almost here. Buzzer beaters, bracket busters, and those unforgettable moments that everybody's talking about the next day. Being there live for stuff like that, that is bucket list stuff. The hard part is actually getting tickets. You don't want queues or prices that jump around or surprise fees. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage with constant innovation. It's how you unlock amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. It's incredibly simple to use. The Game Time guarantee means 100% legitimate tickets delivered on time and at the best price. And here's the best part. Fees are included in the price you see. What you see is what you pay. The seat view feature, by the way, is a game changer. You can see a panoramic view of your exact seat before you buy. No stress, no guesswork, just smooth experience from start to finish. That's exactly what you want during the busiest part of the season. Take the guesswork out of buying college football, basketball tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's create an account, redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Game Time today. And Coast Pay is giving Locked On College listeners up to $2,000 for your business when you get started today. If you manage a crew, I'm talking construction, HVAC, landscaping, any operation that has trucks on the road, you already know how messy gas and material spending can get. Cards get shared, receipts disappeared, and month end turns into a headache. Coast Pay fixes all of that. Coast Pay is the modern fuel card and expense management tool built specifically for fleets. Fuel maintenance, materials, all in one card, all with real control and instant visibility. Every transaction shows up the moment it happens. No surprises. And if somebody fuels at an odd time or tries to buy something outside their limit, you will know instantly. You have real-time alerts so you know who's doing what, automatic receipt capture, fraud protection with employee check-ins by text, no share pins, works with wherever visa is expected, no detours. It is built for operators who don't have time to chase paperwork. And unlike old fuel cards, there are no contracts or commitments, just smarter expense control. Right now, CoastPay is offering up listeners up to $2,000 credit when you get started at coastpay.com/lockedoncollege. Go to coastpay.com/lockedoncollege to see how you can earn up to $2,000 credit. Terms apply. The Coast Visa commercial credit card is issued by Celtic Bank. All card accounts are subject to credit approval. Hey, do us a favor. Like, subscribe, comment on the video before, subscribe to the podcast on whichever audio podcast you're listening to, and give it a 5-star review. It keeps the lights on and everything free, essentially. Thank you for making Locked On Ole Miss your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. You already live your team every day. Now take it up a level and go ad-free. Join the Everydayer Club today and get Locked On Ole Miss with no interruptions, members-only Discord access, and more, all for just $5 a month or $50 per year. Go to lockedonolemist.supercast.com or check the link down in the show notes to learn more. All right, so let's get to your comments or what might happen. Ole Miss, a 6-5 loser to the Baylor Bears, their first loss of the season. It's a game that is going to eat at them if it comes down to something, because this is a game that Ole Miss should have absolutely won. Fielding problems, base running errors, and the fact that the people that were hitting the ball got taken out of the game, extra innings turned into a little bit of a show. So we'll see exactly how that goes. All right, so we have Titans Mafia saying you have the tying run at second base and no outs, and you ask the power hitter and Fowler to bunt. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. Yeah, that's possible, but here's the problem that you have with Austin Foley, and this was something that they were going through in this game. He is somebody that is a pull hitter, and that pitcher is a junk pitcher. So there's a chance he was going to hit it to the third baseman or the shortstop or somewhere where it gets pulled, because he doesn't go the other way very often. So how do you advance the runner? Back control isn't necessarily a thing anymore. So how do you move the runner? And you try to bunt it. You hope you get something. The fact that he whiffed on it, he whiffed on it. He absolutely did. I understand why he was told to do it, because the odds are he was going to hit a ground ball to the third baseman or the shortstop or strike out anyway. That's what he does. And with the pitcher that was on the mound, he was going to see 3 split changes, and that was going to affect him. He also said from Oxford, Mississippi. And he also had another question. You also can't have 20 Ks and lose the game. Yeah, the pitching staff striking out 20 Baylor Bears batters and losing the game. I don't know if I've ever seen that happen. You believe there were 7 putouts by Ole Miss. Well, no, there's more than 7 because it went to extra innings. There was 10 putouts outside of strikeout that Ole Miss did. So, and also SR21968, early season, but same Mike, 20 strikeouts and a loss. I feel sorry for Elliott for having no support. Elliott started slow too. That's important to realize what's going on. He didn't have the best game himself. Starting off with a walk and then a hit batter, and then there was a hit. They got the run in. Baylor's winning 1-0. I think Ole Miss Hunter hit the next batter, and he got out of the first inning, and then he kind of took over and did his thing. But my problem that I have is the bullpen, who they look really good, and then they just missed a couple of spots in the game. It's pretty weird to think of. Tomorrow, Ole Miss gets the Ohio State Buckeyes. I think they lost over 40 games a year ago, something like that. They lost to UTSA in the first game today. This is a game that Ole Miss should win, but you can't have the 3 outcome hitting. You can't have all of the swing and miss. You have to move runners. You have to put the ball in play. You have to do the little things that make it dangerous with college football. And we'll see exactly how that goes. Titans Mafia also says, what is going on with Topher Jones? He was one of the best hitters in JUCO last year, and he hasn't played much. I think it just has to do with people in front of him at this point. If I'm not mistaken, Jones kind of alternates with Bissetta, and Bissetta, we're still waiting on him to get going, but we know the level that he can bring transferring in. So we'll see how that looks as well. Listen, tomorrow going to be a better day. It's a baseball season, a long baseball season. I'm not one for that's baseball, but that's baseball. That happens. Sometimes you just get yourself beat. You do little things in certain areas that look like you should win the game, and then you look at others and you go, oh, I see why they lost. And the home run to the opposite field that made it 4-3, that gave Baylor the lead and kind of changed the complexion of that game, was a low fastball on the outside corner. It was actually not a bad pitch. It just got hit with aluminum bat to the opposite field, and you had the Crawford boxes over there, and you were able to do a little bit of damage. But Ole Miss should have won today. The fact that they didn't means for this weekend to be a success. Now you have to beat Ohio State. If you lose to Ohio State, it's a catastrophe. That there's not really any way to bounce back from that in this weekend. But if you beat Ohio State, you're 1-1, and then you're playing Coastal Carolina, who was a runner-up for the national championship a year ago on Sunday. And that's kind of where the rubber is going to meet the road. This weekend was all about winning 2 out of 3. This was a game that you were supposed to win. You dropped a game that you were supposed to win. Now you have to win the dogfight on Sunday and beat Ohio State so you can have the weekend that was planned from the very beginning. So we'll see exactly how that goes. Anyway, thanks for tuning in today to the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. We're going to continue to talk about baseball all weekend. We're going to talk about this ridiculous communist proposal that they're trying to do to college sports right now. Go check it out. It's the Cody Campbell thing. If you can, also listen to my show in the morning or listen to my show tomorrow morning with Michael Katz. We're on all the social net channels as well, so check that out. If you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get Locked On Ole Miss on ad-free plus members-only Discord access and more. Head to lockedonolemiss.supercast.com to join the club. And for those of you on video, we're going to send you the first ever 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel. On audio, make sure you check out a second listen, either Locked On SEC or Locked On College Football will do you right. Ole Miss, a 6-5 loser to the Baylor Bears, a game that they were not supposed to drop. They did, but it's not the time to panic just yet. Just gets a little bit harder this weekend. Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow. Hotty toddy.